Bitcoin, crypto, morning tea. Hey. Good morning, everybody. My name's Matty B. That is Scaramucci's. This is your morning tea. A brief glimpse into the crypto markets, where the sun's shining, where the wind's blowing. All the humble opinion of this piano. Zamboni bringing the data. The FOMO index has remained at 70, frozen in a state of greed. Bitcoin dominance 61.6%. 24-hour volumes 139 billion. The overall market cap 3.37 trillion. Give or take 100 million. Well, it seems we've had what some legacy analysts would call a pretty bullish week after chopping suey for what seemed like forever. Inside our channel of ascension, we got the head fake textbook bearish breakdown, and just as John and Ed, the two last remaining retail investors, exited this bull run, price started to pump back into and out of our channel of ascension, retaking that psychological little so-and-so, 100K, throw in a long hair, don't care, wake up and peeking out at 105.6, which is also the resistance of this channel of monotony. The last channel of monotony until it's back to price discovery. Is that a dad alert? Coming to rain on our bullish parade on this glorious Monday morning? Yes, it is. Looks like there is some bearish divergence of the reversal kind on both the MACD and the RSI, as price action has made higher highs, while the MACD and the RSI has made lower highs. And I say if this reversal divergence plays out, we could see price action pull back to the 23.6% fib, which is also this channel of ascension's resistance, which would now be acting as support. Failing a bounce from there, we could see the 38.2% fib show up to the party. And if she's so darn tootin', maybe this bearish party starts rocking the DJ golden ratio, blasting the ones and twos down to 99.5, which is this channel support. But Matty B, isn't this also a cute little bull flag? Yes, it is. And the price probability of this pattern is, and sing it with me now. Oh, you take the pull, you slide it all, the breakout point, and then we're all at 112K. Quick look at the Wookiee. Says we did close the candle hella green. In fact, our 5th green weekly candle close in a row, which is something we haven't really seen in this bull run. Well, yet. Back in October 2024, we did see a green candles legging up to our all-time high, but there were some red devils scattered throughout, and never did see 5 weeks in a row with that another data alert. More rain? Nope. Just a friendly reminder that the MACD is officially crossed back bullish, and the last time the MACD crossed bullish on the Wookiee was way back in October 2024, where we saw price action go for a 73% rip in. Where would a 73% rip from here take us? Well, that would be way up at 165K. But there's something pretty weird on this chart that we'll talk about right away on the live stream, so stick around. Weird week. I would say that the last time we kind of did one of these, it was, I think the price was $10,000 less. That's how fast this crazy old market moves. It's really quite amazing. 1 week. That's why when everyone's super bearish, that's when you kind of have to get a little bullish. And then, you know, when people are super bullish, it's time to get a little better. It's just the way the market works. I know it's, you know, ass backwards, but that's just how it goes. Now, the weird part about this, just to dive in, why I couldn't really put it in the video because there's too many moving parts of the piano and the timing and everything. So just save it for more interest. So we do have this, or let me put here. We do have this bearish divergence. Like this is maybe the most pronounced bearish divergence I think I've seen in a long time. You know, sometimes you have to, like, you know, those 3D pictures where you got to numb your eyes and then you see like a pirate ship or whatever. This is not one of those. This is where you have, let's draw it in here for so you remember. You have the higher highs. That is hella higher highs. I mean, it's consolidating, but it's still a channel of ascension. Then you have these very obvious lower highs. It's very obvious. Like it's textbook bearish divergence. Now we're also at the mercy of crazy fundamentals this week, you know, with the inflation ratings coming, you know, the basket of lies. The government gaslights us into believing that certain prices are certain prices, depending on what narrative they want to play out. And how this works. But that's why we're in a weird state, because we do have, like, the charts are saying this. It's like, you know, your gas tank is the light's on, it's flashing, but yeah, you know, you can probably get to that next town, right? Can you? You think, yeah, let's play chicken with the gas tank. Anyway, it's flashing, it's warning. But however, if we get some bullish fundamentals, as in, you know, like the decreasing of the trade tariff wars, if that comes out this morning, we could see a reaction in the market that will just blow this negative divergence, this bearish reversal pattern out of the water. Now, in order for that to happen, enough of these arrows here. In order for that to happen, we would have to have a significant pump with, like, look at this. I'm going to get rid of this for a second here. We have, this is, I don't think I've seen this actually I don't even know if I've ever seen it. We have higher highs, lower lows, including a bearish cross on the MACD. Those are some crazy technicals. You know, it's not just lower highs, it's a bearish cross while we're going up. I don't think I've seen it. If there's any chartists out there that has seen that, let me know, because I don't remember ever seeing it, because I would have made a video on it. You know, I would have incorporated into a video, and then if I incorporated into a video, I, you know, remember it, maybe not forever, but at least it would ring a bell. So yeah, we have this higher highs and a bearish MACD cross. It's weird. I've never really seen it. So that's that. Now, what I was getting on Squeaky McGee might be a new metric. I haven't seen it. Chadwick, drug prices executive order. Thank goodness we have a president who has to intervene on price because the market isn't free. Why isn't it free? The manipulation from board presidents. I read it too fast. It didn't stick into my intellectual hall of mirrors here. This is pretty bullish. I mean, how long were we outside of this channel of ascension? Which is the bull flag. So no, one might argue we have to increase this bull flag for this support that we kind of found. We broke up, but we got out of it. Now we're back in it. This is when we get to these highs, to me, I get more nervous because we got to blow past them and put in new ones, or else, we got to ask some tough questions about whether we're ever going to do it again. Trump and RFK Jr. are saying things, nothing burger incoming. Yeah, I do find there's a lot of nothing burgers and a lot of things not happening with that administration, unfortunately. Maybe things take time, given the benefit of the doubt, maybe. But you would think it would, by now we would have a little more clarity on who did what when it came to certain things like, Epstein Island and whatnot. But I feel like that'll never happen because there's too many involved. It'd be like the whole Edmonton Oilers, were involved on Epstein Island, so they had to wipe the team off the NHL map. It's probably not going to happen. Maybe it will now, Edmonton. See, I'm stuck in 1982, 85 Edmonton when they're like winning Stanley Cups back, 40 years ago. Crazy to think that that's 40 years ago. Anyway, we're right in the middle of this channel of ascension. Generally breaks bearish, and we did, and we fought back. Oh, those were some dark days. Was that March? Yes, March 3rd, early March. We had our massive March was supposed to be bullish, and she wasn't. Now, it could have been worse because we did print out this massive bear flag. If you can see that. Zoink, 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 zoink. So, we're lucky we broke bullish out of that. And I guess on the weekly, what would my ultimate bullish metric is to close above this 104.2 level, because we haven't. On the weekly, we haven't closed above 1.4. Candle close. Right, we got a bunch of long hair don't care wicks up there that nobody really cares about these wicks. They're it's bullish to see, but you need a candle close. Candle close is really like when dad comes home, right? So these wicks are like what's happening in the day when mom's around and the kids are like, yeah, let's just push mom around. We can convince her to do anything. We're going outside. No, you're not. Yeah, we are. What are you gonna do? What? Wait till dad comes home. So when dad comes home is when the candle closes. What the hell's going on here? Said you guys got to play inside, not outside. Okay, Dad. Okay, Dad. In a traditional nuclear family, I suppose that would happen. Now, ultra bullish would be to retest this channel of ascension's resistance at 110.7. Now, that's the next real goal. I know there is a bull flag, or was it the W pattern on the 4 hour or on the daily? Was it the daily chart? We had this W pattern, this cat little daily pattern. So this is the bull flag on the right here. This is the bull flag on the daily chart that does play out to this channel of ascension's resistance of 106. But there's also this cat little W pattern here that we are currently breaking out of. And I think that's is it 109? Something like that. No, it's 112. 112. Yeah, so we would break out it. Let's see what 112 is over on the Wookiee here. 112 is, right about here. So let's just say we followed this and we closed on a weekly. That would take us to June. Crazy to think. Is it crazy to think? June, right around the corner. I find it crazy to think that it's a May already. Where the hell did 2025 go, and where is it going? Just think, in 1 month, Duke, it's going to be 10. This is me crying inside that he's getting too old, too fast. Where's the monthly chart? There it is. This is why if we close above 102, think about that, 102.1, that will be, well, I got to go a little higher. Let's call it 102.5. 102.5 would be the highest monthly close. That's May. No big deal. Just close above 102. And I think that would maybe solidify the direction we're going. But this is why I get a little more nervous at these tops, because rejections are big deals at these. We like the power of the bulls to come in and just rock them, sock them outside to new all-time highs, because we get hung up on the resistance. It's not good. It's not good for the bulls, and it's not good for market sentiment, whatever market sentiment is left in this bull run amongst retailers. I put that the last two, John and Ed, the last two retail investors in Bitcoin. I feel like a lot of the conversation I've had with a lot of people, normies, they feel like the price has gotten away on them. I get it, but they don't understand the 8th greatest wonder of the world, which is compound annual growth rate. Now, it's a pretty easy way to invest. Just, clear out the metrics, clear out everything, and look at the compound annual growth rates of certain performance stocks, assets. That's all you really got to know. And then it's a relative exposure. So a lot of people would say the same thing about Berkshire Hathaway. What is it, 500K or something like that? It's like, well, I can't buy one stock of that. Well, you don't. You buy exposure to it, and then you receive the upside of the compound annual growth rate. Not exactly rocket science, but it's, one of those things that I always try to explain to people in or not in Bitcoin. It's just quite simple. The compound annual growth rate. What's that? People don't know it. And if people knew it, I don't think they'd actually work, because it's such a life-altering phenomena. The compound annual growth rate. Once you actually factor that in to the performance, why would anyone? It would just be like, if I had to do it over again, and I kind of did it in a parallel universe. I wasn't sure what I was doing, but it turned out I was kind of doing this. It was like I would just my job was like shoveling coal into the steam engine. How much coal do I need in the steam engine to keep this train moving? That's it. Okay, well, I'll just do that. And then whatever excess value I had from that steam engine, I started investing in it. And I was come back to, some of the younger people in my family. I always tell them, you should just be investing right now. It's amazing how much disposable income younger people have, even though they think they're broke. They're not broke for one reason. They have no overhead. Why is my headphones going in and out? Think about that. Think about you just have the shittiest job ever, but you have zero overhead. So if your shitty job pays you, $800 a month, but you have no overhead, that's an amazing amount of money to start investing with. And if they knew this when they're 16, think about it. By the time they're 30, if they just did that, let's just say $200 a month, which is quite a bit. Think about it. $200 a month for 15 years. By the time they're 30, they're in a whole different mindscape. Mind space. And their life is different, but they just don't seem. So this is where time horizons come into play. It's like the older you get, the longer your time horizon becomes, ironically positioned to the length of your runway of life, so to speak. And then when you're younger and you have this unbelievably long runway, your time horizon is very short. We're all Janet Jacksons. What have you done for me lately? I need this now, not later. I want it now. Why would I want it? I don't care about 30. I remember when I was younger, I kind of thought, I'm never going to reach 30. In my mind, I thought I would die before 30 in some sort of illustrious ball of flame, right? Is this romantic version of how life would go? But of course, that's not how life goes. You do hit 30. You hit 30 awfully fast. And then from 30, you hit 40 even faster. Lasers, go pew pew. Good morning, pianomattyb. Guess what? I took an IQ test this morning. I'm a 138. I'm not retarded after all. Love everyone here. Results on my ex. Got to go to work. Wow, 138. How do you take IQ tests? I, for one, wouldn't have the patience for an IQ test. I imagine them a super long. Who makes these IQ tests too? It's interesting. I some of the smartest people I know are like, I would say that they have emotional intelligence, so to speak. A self-awareness. It's kind of how I judge people: social self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and then the 9 planes of shit. What do you mean 9 planes of shit? Higher character people have gone through levels of shit. You know what I mean? Like the harder their life is, the more rounded out they become, which I guess makes sense. But you can, it's kind of the way how you can sense if someone has traveled, you know, like, or hasn't, like one or the other. I can get a sense of someone who hasn't left the country. I can also get a sense of someone who has traveled the world, because when you see how, you know, the other side of the world lives, or how things are going on in certain areas, you get a real grasp and a real gratitude, perhaps, for where you live now. I knew that happened to me in a band, traveling, you know, and getting to see, like, I was like a carny of life, stopping in at all these, you know, places, and then going overseas and seeing how the other countries actually, oh wow, there's humans on the other. I thought they were just in books, really. I didn't actually think that there's people in Morocco. I just thought it was maybe, you know, 400 years ago there was people in Morocco. I didn't think that there were people actually right there, you know, watching Three's Company and video hits in Morocco. But there is. You know, and they don't have the great life that we complain about. It's a funny aspect of, you know, there's a lot of things, don't get me wrong, to complain about in Canada, leadership aside. But the creature comforts that we experience on a day-to-day level can't be denied. And those are one of the things that you go, even when you go on vacation to, say, Mexico, right? And there's something happens, and, you know, you can't, simple things, you can't drink the water, or else you get diarrhea. I don't think I've ever said that on the live stream, but that's what would happen. Some people, they go to Mexico and they come back like, how's your trip? It's like, oh, it's good. What'd you do? Well, we are sick for 4 days. Can you imagine that? Being sick for 4 days on your 5-day, 6-day vacation. Multi-sig dummy. Matty, I have so musical ability. Maybe I think you meant no. I have no musical ability, but I wanted musical kids to play piano. Where should I start? Well, I taught Duke what I call toothpick training. And he started very young. There's when he was a baby, I'd sit him on my lap and you know, he'd do that, just getting used to that. But toothpick training is a very simple stacking of concepts, starting from 1. So by the time, there's Duke right there. By the time you're done, they're all the same, but they're exponential. So for instance, and they're only 10 minutes. Remember, only do 10 minutes, especially with kids. To this day, Duke will practice for 10 minutes. C. This I actually taught Duke. I said, I'd point to C, and he'd go, C major, C major. Right? It was an octave high, but my voice still hasn't recovered, so I don't, C major. You can hear it's unhealthy. And then I'd get him to run around the living room, like through the kitchen, and come back, and he'd go, where's C major? C major. Okay, go run. And he'd do that. That was 10 minutes. That was it. That was the lesson. The next day, he goes C and E. C, E major. And he'd run around the kitchen. Then he'd come back and C and E. And then, multi-sig dummy's got another question. He's like, it's done with that. I thank you, but no thank you. You get on with it. Is fungus mushrooms meat or veggies? Do you eat mushrooms on the carnivore? No, I don't. I don't eat mushrooms on the carnivore. I generally didn't eat mushrooms before. You know, I think it was, how's the Winnipeg Jets pre-games party? I'll get to that one second. I didn't eat mushrooms because I didn't like them, right? So now it's great because I don't ever eat them. Part of the rules of the carnivore are not to eat them, but I wasn't adverse to them back in the day. I'm not adverse to them now, but the fact that I don't really need them in my diet is all the better. So I just never do. I just eat steak and hamburger. That's it all day long. I'm going to get back to eggs. I feel like eggs are a superfood that I might be missing. Might throw in a couple egg yolks into the old ground beef hash. Yeah, the texture. Me too, Bruce. Right. Scotty Mo, how's the Winnipeg Jets pregame parties going? They're so amazing for one reason. Now, if you've watched the piano stream, which I know most of you have, Wick, that's also the length of time I'd need to learn the piano with 2 pick lessons. Yeah, 10 minutes. Well, you can learn anything in 10 minutes. You know, I'm working on a bunch of 10-minute, I don't want to call them books, but they're kind of based on everything's in 10-minute things, 10-minute lessons. Anyway, if you've seen the piano stream, you know how we get fickle crowds, right? Where sometimes they come to party and they're just ready to have their minds blown and they love everything and they're dancing. And it's like, whoa, these people are awesome. And then you'll come back Saturday and it'll be packed crowd, but they're just potted plant duds that, you know, sometimes don't even clap, let alone sing along. You know how it is. The crowds are always very fickle at the Jimmy. Now, when we play the pre-games, I feel like the bee girl in No Rain, you know, in Blind Melons, in the video where she's dressed up in a bee and she's going to all these places and there's no bees. And then finally at the end, she finds this like community of bees. I feel like that is how the pregame shows go, because it's like, this is how piano bars in my memory, like when I go to piano bars in the States, they're crazy, you know, and they're not that good. They're good. They're not as good as Kyle and I. And they're just, people are losing their mind. And when we go to do those Jets games, people lose their minds. And I can tell the impact they have on people that are, you know, trying to have fun and enjoy themselves. It's almost like people come to the Jimmy to not enjoy themselves in a weird way. But it's a nice reinforcement that, you know, the value we provide in this show gets noticed in the general population. And it's a ton of exposure, and a lot of people ask to do parties and stuff like that, private events and weddings and everything. Chadwick, if I was going to a piano bar that had a live stream, I'd want to go even more. People are weird. Yeah, well, you know what? I feel, Chad, that we're at this YouTube purgatory of sorts, where it's like half of my mind thinks the pessimistic realist says if it was going to catch on, it'd have caught on, you know, so maybe it won't catch on. And then the optimistic, delusionally bullish person is like, nah, you just got to wait. You know, we're just ahead. This type of entertainment, this kind of live interactive entertainment for 2.5 hours is just ahead of its time, and it'll catch on, you know, when it catches on. So I have the devil and the angel always at this YouTube game. Because it's hard to understand. Like, so for instance, hold on, I got this video here I wanted to show with the true goat. You know, there's a lot of goats in the YouTube sphere, but there's one true
The
goat.
problem is we are going to a digital currency society where cash will be gradually eradicated, either through non-use or a lot of countries and a lot of governments are.
Now, this, of course, is Andreas Antonopoulos. Right. So this video per se is actually when I got my first little dose of orange pilling, because I didn't know this was 2016, 2017. You know, it was quite fascinating to me to see this Joe Rogan podcast. It was maybe one of the most influential podcasts I saw, because it was like I'd never heard of it. But when I think of like YouTube goats, this guy is obvious. If you don't know who Andreas Antonopoulos, go and search him out, because he's just like, he's autistically fantastic with his knowledge of Bitcoin. Obviously, he's like the true OG. And I'd be surprised if anyone on this live stream doesn't really know who Andreas Antonopoulos. But when I think about back to the YouTube angel, like maybe it's early or maybe it'll never catch on. He's a perfect example of both of those things. Because in my opinion, this guy should be grandfathered into maybe the biggest YouTube channel out there, because the information he has is second to none. There's no one that has better information on Bitcoin than Andreas Antonopoulos.
Are trying to actively ban it. So they're putting limits on how much you can use cash. Say, $1,000, and if it's more than $1,000, using cash is illegal. When we go to the society, we have to really think about the implications. And someone has control of that. Corporations, banks, governments, and in most cases, there is no difference between corporation, bank, and government, right? And so that's one scenario. And the other scenario is one in which individuals control their money. And it is digital money, but it's digital cash like Bitcoin, where you can pay an individual from one person to another, just like I can with cash today.
Anyway, this goes on. It's an unbelievable
for me to you digital cash
to watch because it was so early, like, and everything he said, it came true. It's like as prophetic as you could possibly get. Mark Dutch's voice is as freakiest. Michael Saylor's, no doubt. I sometimes like when I didn't know he was Greek, I'm like, what is this guy? The hell kind of national? What kind of? Because his English is very pronounced. Like all the D's and the T's are perfectly pronounced, right? Or whereas like the Canadian, English is a little more rounded out, and there's some of the T's or D's, you got, I went on my boat today, stuff like that. Out for a rip, boy. Trump is about to speak. Ear is about to be full. Wix, I forgot your anti-Trumper. Anyway, so why I say to this is that he should be grandfathered into the biggest YouTube channel out there. He isn't. I think he has about 300,000 subs, which, hey, if I had 300 subs, I probably wouldn't be living in Winnipeg. But it's just, meanwhile, there's other YouTube creators that just kind of came in last cycle that fed their base to FTX and Celsius, got them all on these links, got them all wrecked. People don't forget it. People have forgot about that. But some of these massive creator influencers, through their subscribers, they didn't know they were doing it. However, the allure of the fast money and the affiliate link got the better of them. And these are massive channels. And I would argue that they set themselves up for life off the back of people's affiliate links that they got wrecked. Now it's a horrible situation for everybody.
And that's really it's a less optimistic view, because I'm fully aware of what the other future is, and it's already playing out. And it is
Mark Dutch, Alex O says oot instead of out. Yeah, I think that's an Eastern Canada thing. Yeah, the boot. When when we sing Basket Case, no do to boot it, we kind of sing that as a joke. But I don't think I say a boot. I'm pretty sure I say about out. Like the Hawk 2 girl, 3 months into fame, makes a rug pull token yet, and then she doesn't even get caught for it. So a lot of these people, they made like an apology video, and then I'm sorry, you lost all your money. I'm sorry.
Opinion, a very dangerous future.
I don't think the Democrats understand that it's over, and that there was a vast infrastructure that made their feeble arguments viable. And that infrastructure is now collapsing. People are far more aware, and their lives aren't going to function anymore.
Are people far more aware? I like to think so. I think the people on this live stream are far more aware, obviously. However, like I said, 80% are retards. So you can't escape that. No matter, you won't surround yourself with those people, because you generally birds of a feather flock together. But make no mistake, as fast as change is moving, There's still 80%
Makes
REITs.
sense now that we're seeing these numbers because, okay, this was what was funding the infrastructure. Now we get it. Because it wasn't, otherwise, it's organic. This is the will of the people. This is how people are moving. It's not. It wasn't that at all. This was all organic. And it was really about control. And
Have you guys ever really deep dove? What is the word? Deep dived? Deep dove? Deep dove democracy, the concept of it. Sometimes, you know, in my weird silent moments when I'm upstairs on the dining room table, staring at the window of desperation with a cup of black coffee, wondering, is democracy possibly the second biggest psyop in humanity's history? First being income tax, obviously. And then second being democracy, you know, how it's become a slogan. You know, we got to fight for democracy. We got to save democracy. And it's like as soon as it's like the great intellectual equalizer. Like if you're getting off rails, someone will say, well, I mean, what, you want to save democracy, don't you? Don't you?
money. It had nothing to do with helping people, making people better, giving aid to foreign countries. That's all a cloak and dagger bullshit show.
The volatility on this thing is way too high for anybody.
There's a good example. I love Anthony Pompliano, but he fed his subscriber base to the wolves with affiliate links that got them all wrecked. Will people do it this cycle? Maybe. Maybe every cycle is a new chance for creators to rip off their subscribers.
Call that a savings account. I mean, you may like it, but I think that's a bridge too far right now, isn't it? Over the last 30 years, the US dollar has lost 50% of its purchasing power. So in my lifetime, $1 now buys you 50% or 50 cents of service and goods. And so when you think about that, the most volatile asset that most people hold is the dollar, and they're on the wrong side of volatility. Bitcoin, on the other hand, over a long period of time appreciates. And so the best statistic to look at this is in 2016, the average median home was about $380,000. I'm sorry, $280,000. Today, it's over $400,000. Right. So 50% increase in the average home in America. During that,
I actually saw something today on X about someone buying in Miami a house with Bitcoin. Now, they always say, you know, Bitcoin wallet to wallet. There's other things involved. There's a lot of transferring and a lot of legal mumbo jumbo that has to be done amongst the house sale. It's not just as easy as I'll give you Bitcoin and give me the keys to the house. But
same.
I haven't submerged Detroit, Nick.
The problem is we are going to a digital currency.
Feeling it would go dollars. I'm sorry, $280,000. Today it's over $400,000, right? So 50% increase in the average home in America. During that same 8-year period, it used to cost 664 Bitcoin to buy that home. Today it costs 6 Bitcoin. It has been a 99% reduction in the cost of a home in America if you held Bitcoin. And so another way to think about that is if you had about $5,000 of Bitcoin in 2016, today it could buy you a house. So
I did say 250,000 by the end of this year, but you go out 10 years and the answer is.
Now, we want to talk about legendary eyebrows. It almost looks like I could superimpose the what is it? The Mazda logo in his eyebrows. Like, I would think at some point he's probably twisting them up, you know, like if this mustache gets majestic enough, I could start twisting them around. See you, buddy. Have a good day. You brush your teeth? Okay. Good job. See ya. Now, maybe I curl the mustache down and then I grow my eyebrows up, down. That'll be my shtick. We all need a shtick.
Infinity against the dollar because there won't be a dollar. There won't be a need to have a dollar. Once I can buy my food, my clothing, my shelter, pay my taxes all in Bitcoin. And it's a better way to collect taxes for sure, for sure.
Wick's wife. You can't not do something to those eyebrows. Like those eyebrows aren't natural. Are they? Because, you know, sometimes when I go get my haircut, it's at a barbershop. It's only when I get this girl barber, she'll say, do you mind if I cut your eyebrows? I'm like, what? Do my eyebrows really need? So it's the thing about men. We lose sight of our eyebrows unless we're on it. Unless we're like on it on a daily basis, and you get those kind of gangster / could be a tranny type of eyebrows. Unless you have those, they probably get away on you. Kind of like part of your backyard that you don't mow every week. You're like, I better go mow that one anyway. She does my eyebrows. I'm a little embarrassed about it. I'm like, I should probably be taking care of my eyebrows.
Then there won't be any reason to hold on to any Bitcoin. I mean, to hold on to any dollars. And Bitcoin will be the primary source of owning wealth.
The Tesla Cybercab will redefine the future of autonomy and automotive. It's a 2-person vehicle with a very utilitarian interior.
So how long do you think we are away from this? Because it's the humble opinion of this piano that, Chad, I'm more embarrassed by my nose hairs, man. Can you help manage those for me? Yeah, well, for sure. Those are a little more embarrassing, especially when you catch them later and you've had a full conversation with someone. You're like, God damn it, I'm sitting there with a nose hair. No one said anything. Anyway, it's my opinion that Duke, who's going to be 10 in a month, will never drive a car. This will be here. So a lot of times we can't accept how fast technology is coming at us. So it's coming at us such an insane rate now that it's hard to ever say no, that'll never happen. No, well, it's happening. It's happening fast. So the other side of the aisle is that electric cars aren't catching on, and they're all going out of business. I don't know. It's not really, I never wanted I have an electric car, right? And it wasn't, what's going on, buddy? Okay. It wasn't in my nature to ever want one, but I just had one because I lease. So every 2 years they phone me and they're like, do you want a different car? I'm like, yeah, okay, well, bring the old one back. So I bring it back. And then this one, there was an electric car. I'm like, God, I'll try the electric car. And at first I hated it because you had range anxiety. Range anxiety is a constant knowledge of how much battery life you have. And you're kind of doing the math, like, what can I get there? And like, well, how long do I got to charge it for? Like, I don't have 3 days to charge it. So when they give you, when you come home with an electric car, they give you like a plug that you plug in like a hair blower. And it would seriously take 2 to 3 days for it to go from, 15% to, I don't know, 100% or 80%. They never go up to 100%. See, Dick? And then you never get it below 10, never get it above 80. So it takes 3 days. And I hated it. I was just driving around from charger to charger, and it was still costing me money, right? I had to pay like $30 to charge it. And I was still sitting there for an hour. So I was like, I actually tried to reverse the deal. It's like, I don't like it. And they're like, well, we can't. You're in it. We have to resell it back into we can't do it. So I was stuck with it. Then I put in a 240 in the garage, which is like the big electric thing. And then, of course, boom, click. It's charged in 3 or 4 hours or overnight or whatever. But I got to tell you, and I never thought this would be me. We're having a little pullback here at 103.7. I love that electric guitar. I love the electric car now. It's just in an accident, so I'm not driving with it. I went through a green light and someone went for it, and I just hit him. And so now that's in the shop, and I miss it. Because it was this is why I miss it. This is why I think what we're missing about the electric cars is that they drive differently. They don't drive like a normal car. So when I say that, I mean like the past normal car, it was like gas goes to pistons, which goes to engine, which goes to wheel, which turns wheel, which pulls car. Like it was all these moving parts to the car. You could feel it. But with the electric car, it's like one big piece of clay. Everything is it's just one car, and everything moves at the same time. It's like I compare it to like an electric car set back when you were little. Zzz, You pressed it and zzz, it just went. It wasn't like with a normal car, gas, boom, it was zzz, right? So anyway, I'm not sure. The next car, which is maybe in a year, if they phone me back, maybe they won't want it back, and then let's let let's let them take that electric car. Get electric car for Christ's sake. But I would probably get another one. Someone asked about average electric bill. Nominal. Like I don't really see the difference because, in the summer you get better range in Canada. So like it'll charge for, a night, maybe every 5 days, something like that. And I mean, it's the same as a dryer kind of going on for 4 hours, I suppose. Like in the winter is a little different because you have, it has a lower battery life and you're charging it more, but it's not that crazy.
With no crevices in between for small things to fall into it. But this thing will be the future of Uber and Turo built into it. And imagine this thing going on long road trips all across the world.
No, I wouldn't go on a road trip with mine because so the cabin is out of Victoria Beach, which is about an hour and 20-minute drive. And so I would be really, chasing the dragon on that one to make a round trip. But luckily there's a you can charge it at Victoria Beach. But so being a slave to the chargers isn't that great on a road trip because I couldn't imagine like going for 2 hours and then waiting an hour, However, kind of beats the gas guzzlers in a way.
This is insane.
Florida father is going viral after showing just how costly a day trip to Disney World has become.
I've never been to Disney World. Has anyone been to Disney World? In fact, I don't know if I would go. Carl Elder, I was thinking about electric vehicle only because my work offers free charging if you have an EV. Yeah, it's great. So you drive to work, boom.
Before we even got into the park, it cost me $30 just for parking. And even being a Florida resident, tickets for a family of 5 with one child under 10 was still $974.
What? $975 to get in. I'm out. Why don't you ever go to Disney? Well, I mean, it would cost $1,000 to get in. There's no way. I don't even go to concerts that are less than that. I wouldn't even go to a Jets game, which is arguably almost as much. I heard some tickets to the Jets game was like $500. Like, who the hell's paying $500 to go see a hockey game when it's right there in a 75-inch TV? I guess it's the, being with the people and the excitement.
The rest of the family decided they want to go to dinner at downtown Disney Springs. This place was my literal hell, totaling $245.27. The grand total for our day was $1,391.91.
$1,400. $1,400. There's not enough fun in it. I get it. You want to make memories for the kids. There's better memories to be made with $1,400 than all that bullshit.
1 cent.
I kind of had a feeling it would go viral. It's very relatable. It's family friendly.
Scotty Mo, I guess you do live right by, you're in Florida. You must go there a lot or no? At $1,500 again. I don't know. Just way too many other things to do.
He's always a hot topic, and we're all trying to pinch pennies. So that video was probably my therapy as I was going through the day. The kids were smiling, sometimes fighting in between the lines. My wife was having a grand old time. Meanwhile, mine was just swipe the card.
Meanwhile, Dad's looking at his bank account. Going down. It's not worth it.
Over and over and over. And it started with the ticket purchase, and then it ran right into the parking, and then it just was like a cash cow for the rest of the day. So I kind of had an idea that people would be able to relate to it, just maybe not so much.
Americans again.
Chadwick, if my dad gave me $1,400, it would be more memorable than foisting a trip on me in my infancy. First, I like the word foisting. I don't think I've heard it in a long time or seen it used like that, foisting. The problem with that is that I think the younger people have no clue. Like, obviously, the younger you are, the less clue you have of money. You don't understand it. Look what's coming up. One of these baby things are everywhere. You don't understand it, but like $1,400, like I said, with the younger people in my family, they don't get it. Like if I gave them $1,400, I swear they'd go to Forever 21 and it'd be gone in a day.
Being lazy,
Too many holidays, too much Netflix, not enough work.
This is the crazy thing about AI now. So AI is coming at us so fast that the subtleties in this AI is crazy. How it, like, it's a baby, we get it, but it's capturing the true essence of Donald Trump to a T. Like all the weird little facial things, and it's kind of hurdling that uncanny valley that we talk about so much.
You wonder why the country's slipping? Because half the nation thinks self-care means staying home on government checks. When I was in charge, we worked, we won. Now it's Mental Health Monday, Taco Tuesday, and no one shows up on Friday. You want America to be great again? Try showing up 5 days in a row.
Liberals have won yet another.
This is a girl called What's Her Face. She's a Canadian. And if you don't follow her, you should go to unbelievable content for this Canadian. She's been banned like 3 times. She comes up with new channels, but her channel right now is called What's Her Face? What's Her Face Entertainment or something. She has to change it all the time because she constantly gets banned. But it's unbelievable. It is so funny, and it's probably right up your alley.
Canadian election. After transforming the country into a completely unrecognizable shell of its former self in under 10 years,
Now, obviously, everyone's city has been transformed into a hellhole, but a lot of people don't understand or realize how bad it is in Canada with the tent cities and the multi-culti transformation of what was Canadian. It doesn't even resemble Canada anymore. That's why I don't care. Like, I'd rather become the States. It's like, well, it's been demolished to a point where anything's better.
Canadians have just one message for their government. Hit me harder, Daddy.
And put some stank on it.
This win was, of course, made possible by our nearest and dearest, the beloved liberal boomers. The generation who listens to global news all day as background noise like it's Pavarotti.
That's my dad. All day long, CNN.
To a recent survey, the difference in values between young and old has never been more striking, with the majority of young Canadians voting for a lower cost of living and the majority of older Canadians voting against the president of a foreign country.
That's how he did it, because there's so many scared boomers in this country and immigrants that the immigrants and the scared boomers were just like, no Donald Trump, no Donald Trump. And that's what you got to play out.
You love me or hate me. You got to vote for me.
To really put their priorities in perspective, the issues boomers cared about the least when voting in this election were making housing more affordable and making Canada a better place to live.
So most people don't know this, but Vancouver has and Toronto, some of the highest real estate, overblown, bubbled market in the world. It's coming down a bit, but it's still crazy. Like, I don't know how normal people in Vancouver, like a shit house is $1.3 million or something.
This is why boomers are traveling all over the country, is to go to where their children have been forced to live.
Having a little pump here. I'll let it play, 104.6. Let's go 105.
And laugh at them. This is what boomers like to do. They go, that you pay this for that? That's the whole point.
I'm really starting to think we may have locked up our elderly to protect them from the wrong plague. Because at the height of COVID, boomers screamed at us to shut down our businesses for the noble cause of protecting them from runny noses. But now, suddenly...
It wasn't too long ago that the old dad was on a plane trip to Cuba with full mask. Didn't stop there. And visor, like some sort of welder's visor, over a mask. I had to take a picture. I lost it, but I always meant to show him. It's like, this is how crazy you guys got.
Their only concern is the effect Donald Trump's tariffs will have on our businesses. A stunning display of hypocrisy that shouldn't surprise anyone, as the boomer special is ramming the ship right into the iceberg and then trying to save it once it's halfway down to the bottom of the ocean.
Okay, this is insane.
So do yourself a favor. You guys will love that channel. What's her face? One video a week. She does. She lives out in the country in Ontario. Very funny girl.
This is the new jet fighter in China called the White Emperor, which supposedly flies quicker than the speed of sound and has tech capabilities which are basically going to melt your mind. So not only does it hit speeds of 5,000 kilometers an hour, it has an army of drones which you can release through AI during times of battle. It can also fly on the perimeter of space, has
Like as if there's going to be boots on the ground war anymore. It's all going to be drones. It's all going to be like AI drones fighting other AI drones. I guess that's once they liquidate the, living portion of that land area.
20,000 kilometers before it even has to think about refueling, and can also be flown completely unmanned. And on top of that, it supposedly has the technology to destroy satellites and shoot directed energy, which is slang for laser beams.
Well, I thought directed energy weapons was a conspiracy.
So we are getting eerily close to Star Wars.
Your brain doesn't know that your eyeballs exist, and if it did, your immune system would attack and destroy them.
True, but also false. The eyes are actually part of the brain. That's why.
Eat a polar bear liver, you'll die because humans can't handle too much vitamin A.
In Australia, the fish and chips is made out of shark. Sharks are technically older than...
What they said about liver is kind of true, because I remember early carnivore, part of the rhetoric was, oh, you got to get these organ meats in. And when I would have liver, oh man, the stomach aches.
Trees.
We apologize to President Trump for wasting millions of dollars and the state of New York for a witch trial. And how does it feel to know that you will be imprisoned for mortgage fraud?
To manage Meta.
Will they go to jail? Will we see any politicians actually serve time? That's when we know the bull run has really begun. When we see these politicians go to jail and pay the price for duping society, for the price for corruption, when we see these psychopathic elites go to jail, then and only then will we know that the bull run has begun.
Is now in talks with a number of crypto companies as it considers introducing stable coins as a way to manage payouts. This is coming from a new report in Fortune magazine. It comes years after Meta's earlier attempt, you'll remember, at a cryptocurrency blew up. Fortune saying that Meta's recent outreach to crypto companies.
Does everyone remember Libra? Remember when Libra came out and he had to go to he had to sit in the shame cycle seat and get lambasted by all those old dinosaurs that didn't even know what the hell they were talking about?
Focuses on the ability of stable coins to pay individuals in different regions without the high fees that would be traditionally associated with other forms of payment. It also says that Meta has now hired a new vice president of product with crypto experience to help move those discussions along. So you remember that whole adventure that they went on, that ultimately Libra, that didn't make it, but this may be the next incarnation.
You remember I don't know.
This is why I get pretty bullish. Like the fact that John and Ed, the last two retail traders, have exited this bull run, that's fine. I think it was about time they did. They lasted a long time. They didn't have the discipline or the time horizon to get that wealth that they would have attained. But I think we're actually seeing the reorchestration of the next future, the 21st century, so to speak, of the monetary system. It's all being put into place, like all these weird ducks. And so we're going to sit here in the next 4 years, everyone's saying how lucky we were to get in so early. But everyone that will be getting in 4 years, they all have no clue about this. This will be like underwater. So you'll have the reality of the new financial monetary system, backed by Bitcoin. And then underwater will be the early stories of us, like making videos, watching content, learning about Bitcoin. Everyone above that water, like Bitcoin, let's call it $1 million, it'll be normal to them. They won't even fathom the concept that it was at one point 104.3. How come you didn't buy at 104.3? I thought it was overpriced.
I got a lot of play when I said this is like the dumbest thing ever. It was centralized. Compared to Bitcoin, there was nothing Libra had to offer.
Women don't rape themselves, as far as I understand.
Now, is this AI?
Somebody's doing the raping. But we're currently in the middle of a national crime wave. 29 million illegals in the past 4 years is 29 million felonies.
If it is AI, AI's gotten pretty damn good.
Certain parties have benefited from these crimes from a financial standpoint, which means we have grounds for the largest RICO case in American history. RICO case. That's what it's called. There is a criminal organization working within our government as well as the private sector that makes the RICO pursuits against the mob look like child's play. I've got 2 words for anyone who's been mucking up the country on purpose. Death penalty.
See, it says this is a deep fake, quite obviously. Maybe.
Only vote left. Why is that? I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Never.
It's a weird angle that they vote for the person that they think that they is the weakest. Which kind of makes sense sometimes when you see it.
They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades, and Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders.
I can tell you she's Mexican. I can tell anybody's raised by their car.
I've never seen this show. What is it called? Tires or something like that? I don't know even where I'd watch it, but this clip's pretty funny.
No, you can't. And that's a little racist.
It's not anybody can do it. You could do it.
I couldn't.
Black Nissan, tinted windows, cherry bomb.
I don't know what that would be.
Pack of menthols.
Once he says pack of menthols, you kind of know.
In any car.
I don't know what that would be. That could be anybody.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay. It's not like Google and Facebook. It's not like Apple and Amazon.
This is amazing. I know like these things are everywhere now. Some apps doing them, but man, it's amazing. The facial uncanny valley nuanced aspect of this AI is so crazy. Chubby little fingers.
Yeah, we can debate Apple or Amazon. What's better? They both look like tech monopolies to me. They both look pretty good. On the other end, Bitcoin or no, Bitcoin.
I have to know, what is it like to be the last black president?
Seriously? What's it?
Like, look how good it captures like what he would look like as a baby. There's no doubt in your mind that that's Barack Obama as a baby.
Like for this to be the last time you ever talk to a president?
It must kind of stink, though, that you can't run, 3 times.
Now, that doesn't really look like Zach Galifianakis, though. If you really... I mean, I can get there only because I know this between two ferns. But this is probably the least baby-looking Zach, whatever this is, baby AI.
Actually, I think it's a good idea. If I ran a third time, it'd be sort of like doing a third Hangover movie. Didn't really work out very well, did it?
They didn't know that McDonald's in Switzerland accepts Bitcoin. Come with me, I'll show you.
I'm not being dishonest.
Is it really that important that the McDonald's accepts Bitcoin at this day and age? Like, who's really, this is the old adage, well, you can't buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin, so therefore it's going to fail.
Created money out of things.
Oh, by the way, this is Canadian politics, so this may be super boring. It would have been super boring to me the majority of my life. Now I find it amazing because he's talking about the monetary system, how corrupt it is, and how our CBC, which is funded $1.2 billion by the Liberal government, is just the propaganda arm of it. Is crazy.
They massively expanded the money supply. You know this.
They did not permanently increase the money supply, Mr. Shure. But anyway, I don't want to have an argument on monetary policy. They use settlement balances to buy bonds, to lower interest rates, to put liquidity into the banking system, and then they remove those settlement balances over time. So,
are you denying that there is more currency, whether it's digital or real, in the Canadian economy today? Are you denying?
I'm saying they use settlement balances, and you're calling it money for.
Thanks very much. First of all, I do just want to correct something.
And this is where, this is another clip where he came back just to shove it in the idiot's face.
You said on the air last time I was on your show, you said the government did not permanently increase the money supply. They absolutely did. The money supply is over $700 billion on M2, higher today than it was during the pandemic, and the settlement balances are still significantly higher than pre-lockdown periods. So I just want to put that on the table.
Okay, the Bank of Canada did that, to be clear.
Well, they were buying government bonds because of deficit spending. But anyway.
Yes. See his answer. Sure. I'll grant you that.
So we have always had a...
What would your new target be?
Yes. So we have always had a 2030 target, the base case in the 700 to 750,000.
Side note, have you ever seen pictures of Kathy Woods as a younger woman?
Range, the bull case in the $1.5 million range. David Puel, our
that was a nod. You should probably go check it out. It's very pretty.
Analyst and our on-chain analyst put that piece out recently, and you can see the building blocks, how much share we expect Bitcoin to either take from gold or grow that store of value market. Institutions moving in, and they've barely moved in. We have 1 million more coins, roughly, to be minted ever, and institutions are just testing the waters right now. And then there's the emerging market use case as well. So we think we have miles to go, yes.
This is me every night, actually.
Good. Known Epstein clients who are obviously extremely powerful, powerful politically and very wealthy, are Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, and Reid Hoffman.
No, I don't know who Reid Hoffman is, but this is like, we'll know the bull run is on when some of these Epstein creeps end up in prison or even named. Then we'll know the Bitcoin bull run. I would say humanity's bull run into the future has officially begun.
And some others too, but those three. So, why was Reid Hoffman so intent on destroying Trump?
Do you think it's because they're worried about the list coming out?
Yeah, one of the reasons. Yeah.
So,
I'm like, this is, so.
It's so frustrating to be sitting in a situation where the list isn't coming out.
Well,
Wick's wife, I do agree with you on AI. It'll put most artists out of business. There'll be a pushback, just like like a political swing. Like AI will become very noticeable to people's, maybe just in the back of their minds, and they'll want something kind of, more human. But then they'll just be able to dial in. This is what we don't know about AI. AI can happen so fast. So by the time you're thinking about a change, it just incorporates it. Just like that. It's like, this is a little bit too stiff. I just wish that I could dial in a little more humanity. Click, new feature, dial in humanity.
Better come out, hopefully tomorrow.
Why'd they release bullshit today?
I don't know.
What's the point in giving these people like a happy folder to wave around in front of the camera with nothing in it that's new? Doesn't make any sense. It's not encouraging.
Like I said, it's the tough thing that they've got is, they've been made captain of a ship with a hostile crew.
Right.
So they don't have it's not like you have like magical powers. You get made captain of a ship with a hostile crew. You still have a hostile crew.
Right.
You've got to bring in people who are going to, be helpful as opposed to obstructionist.
Right.
I guess to a certain degree, if some of these massive moguls do go to jail, it would be so disruptive to a certain degree that they may be planning a controlled demolition of it. And we'll take this one person. This is just delusionally bullish, taking these people out one at a time. Because imagine all of them, like what would happen? It'd be pretty insane. I just rip the band-aid off.
So, but yeah, I think the public will be rightly frustrated if there's if no one is prosecuted for the Epstein client list, no one at all.
What do you know? That you're a musician. But that's why I'm interviewing you today, so I can get to know you.
So I'm a musician. What the fuck that mean? Make magic or something? What is musician?
I think you're confusing that.
Yeah, I'm not no musician. I make music. I make music. And that's not all I do. I make music, I act. I'm a TV star too, a young mogul.
I just really quick, I think you're confusing.
I'm not confusing nothing because you.
Is she a TV star? I don't know who this black girl is. Like a rapper. I don't. What would I know?
You don't know. You thought that all I was a magician or whatever the fuck you said.
See, that's what I think you think I said. I said musician.
This girl here, Bobby, whatever. She's one of those. Remember, I talk about Essalon Institute, where they run these people in. They intellectually they upscale them into, levels above the general public. Like for instance, Charlie Kirk, even Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, all these Candace Owens. Like, okay, they might be super smart. That's for real. But they just know a certain level of rhetoric that is above. When I see the people go and challenge, like debate these people, it's so, have they not seen the videos? Like when you see these dummies talk to Charlie Kirk, just get decimated. I mean, you can tell what is that saying about cheating? If you're good at cheating, you don't have to be good at anything else. Well, when you're good at debating, it doesn't really matter what you're talking about. Like you can take any side and you just deconstruct the wording and the phrasing. You're not really arguing about anything. To a certain degree, you can just put up little, well, this doesn't make sense what you're saying. And then most people aren't equipped with the intellectual firepower to go up against a true debater.
Not magician.
I don't think, baby. I don't think. What is that? That's ghetto. I don't think.
That's when you feel God working. When you pet a dog, a strange.
I would almost put this guy in there too, like Theo Vaughn, out of nowhere, just thrust into a massive following. Maybe he's good. I don't know. I've never watched it. I think these clips are funny.
Dog, a miscellaneous dog, baby. And it lets you keep petting.
Terry Crow, I just want to know what day in May should I sell my Bitcoin? I would not sell your Bitcoin. This, amongst all bull runs, this one would be the one. I mean, listen, if you sat through the last one, if you wrote it all the way down, who cares? You're back now. The flip side is that this, if we enter what I was talking about before, where like this is all underwater, no one remembers about this time, this phase of Bitcoin, and then it's now like this utopia financial monetary system that's funded and backed by Bitcoin. You don't want to sell in May in case that explodes, and it could explode, or it could do exactly what it did last cycle and just have like a 70% drop. And if it does, I would consider ourselves very lucky because the people coming in now don't know about these cycles. So we do. And it's not too hard to predict when it's going to start going up again. So let's say we do have a 70% dip. It's essentially October 2026-ish where the historic cycle bottoms out. And at that point, any money you put in is basically going to, get some upside exposure. I don't know. Like I'd be kind of shocked if we do follow, a 70% bear market. Kind of shocked, but not really too.
Oh, make you want to kick a fat kid at Kmart. You know what I'm saying? Praise God, baby.
Just an article in Forbes that listed the 10 richest people in the.
Yeah, XRP. I don't have enough Bitcoin to sell, and if it does become super scarce, maybe we won't be able to buy. Only the big boys will be able to buy more. That's true. Like that's what I meant. People think the ship has sailed, and for most they have. Like I'm having an interesting lunch meeting today. I might discuss later in the week, but I just don't want to jinx it. they feel the price has gotten away from the retail investor, that they don't understand the law of large numbers is just too crazy for them. So like this guy's probably, I don't know, he's probably a millionaire, I suppose, maybe multi, but it's not like he can just go out and buy a Bitcoin. He could, but it would take like a full day of, you know, moving the water around. You know, it's not like he's as wealthy as he probably is. He's not like sitting with a bank account with like 150, I don't know what it is Canadian, 130, 40K just sitting there in a bank account. You know, that's just not how this, so they have to move things around. So it's like these big players are now, you know, arguably having a hard time getting to one Bitcoin. It's not that they can't, they have a net worth above one Bitcoin, but just the liquidity of it all to purchase it is even getting away from them. So the fact that like a couple of years ago at 15.5, it's crazy to think it was 15,500. Now, if we top out at 109 and it comes back down 70%, we may be looking at a $50,000-$60,000 Bitcoin. I never say never, you know, never say, just like old Donnie Trump to Mark Carney. Yeah, never say never. I like that foreshadowing.
World, and how none of them paid any taxes. And when they dug through.
Speaking of charlatans, remember, you know, the Chucky Munger, we found out Mashinsky lied. Chucky Munger finally died. This is one of those guys, like you check out your favorite YouTuber from last cycle. They had Celsius affiliate links, buy, sell. Click on this, unbank yourself.
Their taxes, they realize all of them borrowed against their stock. All of them. Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett and Steve Jobs. This
is where cooler minds did prevail. Peter Schiff, like, think what you want. I like Peter Schiff. He's a knowledgeable little so-and-so, a little bit too much of a gold bug, but he's a funny, if we're going to have an antithesis to this Bitcoin, it might as well be Peter Schiff.
Point. But at least, look, at least stocks are real assets. Many of them pay dividends that you can use to make your margin payment.
Bitcoin pays dividends, Peter. Bitcoin pays dividends. Try Celsius.
How does Bitcoin pay
2%? 6.2% dividend.
See, the rational mind of Peter Schiff is like, how? What is an asset with no CEO or no business or production of goods and service, pay off? Where's the yield? It's a good question. But see, it comes in this time of the season too, this time of the cycle, people start not questioning yields. You know, I even do it myself with Misty, MSTY. It's like, probably be 120% a year. It seems we stop seeing the red flags in this part of the bull run.
We earn yield.
How do you earn yield on Bitcoin? What do you do to generate income on that Bitcoin?
I'm happy to spend an hour with you.
Yeah, you're trading it. You've got to be taking a tremendous amount of risk. The Bitcoin itself doesn't generate any yield.
It does. Just like any other asset can generate yield. Gold.
No, but what earnings does the Bitcoin generate?
Gold generates 5.5% at Celsius. Yield.
Big name YouTubers, some I still watch, was adamantly defending Mashinsky. Now, if I'm going to defend them, I'm going to say that it was their first cycle. And maybe if my channel was bigger and Celsius offered me a affiliate link back when I didn't know anything, maybe I would have took it too. Maybe anyone would have took it. One thing's for sure, some of those affiliate links that killed most people's hopes of life-changing wealth made them arguably set for life with those affiliate links, maybe. But, it's hard to say. As soon as we bought them and started moving up, I had daily, probably 3 or 4 new affiliate link partnerships. Arguably some of them are probably scams, but a lot of the Mark Dutch, the audio in this video is way too loud. Let's see. Turn it down like this, maybe. See how it is. I lost what I was going to say. Mark Dutch.
No,
tokenized
what
gold.
are you doing to generate that? You must be taking tremendous risk to generate those returns. Of course you are.
Okay.
You're not, of course you must be.
Look, I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just explaining that this is
I turned the volume down on Ecamm. Is that a better volume?
Interest rates are
an amazing opportunity for people.
Interest on gold.
It's an amazing opportunity for people to unbank themselves, right? Take advantage of the.
Now that's such a sexy word, right? Especially to this, like the audience of Bitcoiners. Unbank yourself, right? Unbanking myself is basically how I first, came across gold and then Bitcoin. So if anyone can give me is that a thumbs up as to the volume XRP? I don't know.
You also had an amazing opportunity. Bernie Madoff had an amazing opportunity.
He could have had a statesman-like message both during the election and when he saw Trump. He could have said this: Donald Trump is trolling us. We're friends with the United States. He's trying to needle us so that we spend more money on NATO and we lower our surplus, which is growing very big. And we're going to do that. We're going to negotiate. Don't take him serious. He's just doing this like he did to Panama. We're good friends. He kids us. We kid him. But he didn't.
This is where he gets it wrong, because it was a whole ploy to scare boomers into Donald Trump's bad. So if you vote for him is like a vote for Donald Trump, it's very easy. Vote for him, it's like voting for Donald Trump, and all the boomers are like, oh my God, I can never vote for Donald Trump. He's bad.
Didn't do that. He tried to whip it up and it was successful. But once you whip it up and you get that hostility, then you've got to go deal with him. And then you've got to tell him, I'm not going to spend $40 billion on our defense. We're going to subsidize you in defense. And we're not going to lower that. So that's not going to work. It's not going to work. And so I think that he can say, he'll leave the meeting and say, I told him we're not going to be at 51st. That was an irrelevant.
Now, my dark theory is that Mark Carney was brought in to speed up the secession of Canada into the States, for better or for worse. I'm looking forward to Mark Dutch. I did on Wi-Fi. Unbanking is next. Yeah, I'm pretty close to unbanking too, especially with bull Bitcoin. Once that system is flawless, then the last thing I have to do is, have people pay that instead of a bank, so to speak. I would say if there's 100, if I got 99 problems and a bank's all of them, I would say I've cured about 97. There's two more hurdles before 99 problems and a bank ain't one.
Adventure. It was going nowhere, and he knew it. But the two issues that he knew were important, that they should man up and pay their 2% and help defend not only NATO, but the North American continent, which they had done brilliantly in the past, he didn't want to talk about. Or he'd say they'd do it in 5 years. 5 years will do it. No, you've already been derelict for 11 years. Or he could have said,
Canada in the background. Has it been 11 years? I'm sorry.
We don't run up big surpluses with our friends. We're not Mexico. We're much closer to you. And we're going to work on this, and we're going to try to import. We'll work it down. No, he created his nationalist paradigm.
Meet Marissa Rothenberger, a male pitcher absolutely dominating girls softball in Champlin, Minnesota.
And the pitch. Rothenberger back in the fifth. Swing and a miss here first. 0-2 pitch. Strike.
Rothenberger, at 6 feet tall, appears to tower over his female competition.
Well, because he's a boy.
In this game on May 6, 2025, he threw 7 strikeouts and shut out the opposing team.
If there's one thing I got to say about Canada, is that we don't see this. Like I'm sure it's here somewhere, not really in Winnipeg. I haven't seen any of this happening. In fact, like my nephew and nieces, they all play volleyball, and there's none of this. And I don't think it would fly here, to tell you the truth, because most of the sports parents are a certain way. They're like, forget about it. They're like, a guy playing on a girl. It would just, I don't know. It just doesn't. We haven't got that crazy. Don't get me wrong. Canada is insanely backwards. We haven't, not this backward.
Apparently, Rothenberger's batting against average is .128, meaning opposing girl players only hit 12% of his pitches, which is considerably better than elite MLB players. He recently had an absurd 14 strikeouts in a single game.
It took fear of speaking out canceled to let things get to this point. Yeah. I think that's what's happening now. Like it would, I know, for instance, my brother-in-law, his daughter is on a volleyball team. There's no way he would sit there and go, well, it's okay. But see, what happens is that you don't like it until the boy comes on your team and you go from the worst team in the league to the best team in the league because of this girl.
What was really amazing was listening to the dense male announcers as they gush about Rothenberger's wingspan and how hard he throws it.
See how she whips it? The long arms is just such an advantage.
I would think that they would have to really think about saying she, or, you know, it would be a hard thing to actually convince your brain that you're talking about a girl.
Wow. The whip action of that long arm for Rothenberger.
He's a boy, guy.
What kind of boy wants to do that too? Like what's wrong with that kid? What's wrong with the kid's friends? What's wrong with the kid's parents? Like, how do you celebrate wins? To me, there's such a negative divergence in this whole scenario. You know, the team's winning, but everyone thinks it's, you know, not good.
Guys, get it? He's male, and it's cheating. Stop gushing. The male coach who coaches Rothenberger was gushing too.
Our pitchers do a phenomenal job. We have Marissa Rothenberger. They keep us in every game.
What's not to like?
No shit. 6 foot tall guy keeps us in. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this